We certainly had a lot of fun when we did a live stream about this Harper's Bazaar article and magazine cover of Megan the other day. We had a lot of fun. It was 1 hour. Sometimes I say that I understand that you like a shorter version of things, so I decided to make a shorter version, a 9-minute version, a summary of what I said. What I said is that this was not a smart move from Megan. I said so many things in that 1 hour. I remember that one of the things that this struck me is that this was gray, as in this was boring, stale. The gray background, the black suit, the poster, everything was. Somebody at Harper's Bazaar, or many people at Harper's Bazaar, really don't like Megan because it is obvious that it was not one person who did this. It was a group of people who did this. So the editorial decision decided that this was going to be the look. Okay, I was mentioning in another video that that Megan wants to launch a luxury brand accessories. I still don't have many details, and all of this is unofficial. All this is off the record, but Harper's Bazaar actually had her in their banners, like their official banners. That was interesting to watch. And there was the actual Harper's Bazaar. I was remembering that this cover is going to be a milestone for Megan, like it was the Oprah interview. Maybe not that much impact, but it was indeed. I mean, what is happening? What is going on? And I always remember that a Time magazine interview that if it has been only Megan without Harry, let's cut Harry outside. I think that it would have been warmer, more interesting in many ways than whatever is this. This is, I'm going to say, stale and boring. Those were the words that I used. And of course, what was lacking the flowers. I'm going to play this with the dead flowers that are so important. You know that I don't like to use AI that much. I only use AI for this to make that joke. The pictures, she was cosplaying Columbo, as we saw, with that long trench coat. I don't know what she was aiming for with this. I think that Bazaar said, we have all this spare clothing that you could use, that you could play with this. I thought, and I said, I'm going to repeat that again. I stand by my words that this should have been the actual cover of the magazine. Maybe you disagree with me, but I think that this is even if this is black and white, this is a better picture than the one that they chose. This is a warmer, better composition, more interesting expression, everything. It's like much better than this. Absolutely much better than this. I remember, we had all the Diana comparisons that we know that are crazy. So crazy and so insane. And we made a reference to this one that was, the same pale gray background. Not the same dress, but it's going there. But again, sometimes we need to be realistic. How many pictures were taken of Diana when she was alive? There's so many pictures out there. I think it was a bit of a stretch, some of those comparisons. But I don't know what was Megan going for with this one. This was an interesting picture. I'm going to say this. I remember when I did a lot. I have to finish that illustration of Catherine, by the way. I remember when I did illustrations with a pencil. I don't know how to say that. Grafito. Lápices de grafito. This would have been an amazing picture to do an illustration on that. But I'm not going to do it, of course. I'm not going to invest time on doing a Megan illustration. I'm going to leave that to the squad. But I don't think that the Sausage Squad had that talent. You know that when the Sausage Squad wants to do paintings or something like that, they end up doing horrible things. And of course, we saw all the commentary about she being announced when people are visiting her in other people's houses. I was talking about Victoria Jackson's house in another video, and how she was announced, and how this thing that Meghan was wearing made no sense and made me question so many things. I mean, she was trying to make a statement, but I don't know what kind of a statement she was trying to make. I don't think that this was something nice to wear. And no, her expression, no, she can't do this again. This was much better expression. This one, I could say that this was my favorite photo of them all. Yes, I can have favorite photos of Meghan, because why not? What else do we have here? I'm basically going through all the things that I talk about on that 1 hour live stream. I think the moment that you start making all of your personal decisions based on external judgment, then you lose your authenticity. Yeah, Meghan Markle said this, and Harper's Bazaar highlighted that on their article and on their Instagram account. Go figure. The hypocrisy. I don't know how can they then do that, but well, I remember that I spoke about this, about that this is her, I don't know, seductive, naive, shy look. I don't remember. We were saying so many things about this picture. There's no such thing as perfect. I too get to make mistakes. I remember this. You know, Meghan is so perfect, and we could mistake her for this like tower of perfection, this human being that is so beyond our wildest dreams, that she is so humble to remind us that she too can make mistakes, so we don't feel bad. No, thank you, Meghan. That is so kind of you. I don't feel bad about myself anymore now that you mentioned that you too make mistakes. I feel so relieved about that. I remember this joke in Meghan playing being asleep when Harry wanted the sexy time. I talk about that. Again, if you want all the details, that you will have to go through that 1 hour. I don't like things that feel overly realized. If you overwork, the dough is not going to rise. I don't know. You ask Harry about that. And I also said I was clear that, not gonna lie, I liked this picture upon first inspection, or first expression. I can say that. Maybe you disagree. But that was my impression of this one in particular. I think the rest of the pictures that we saw was pretty much a review of the comments on. Thanks, Paola. Shout out to Paola, who told me to check the comments on Instagram. And the comparison, well, I think the new one from Harper's Bazaar is hands down the worst that she has done so far. But let me know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. Much love and bliss.